Okay, so we've been simplifying. If you remember simplifying, you have to make sure that it's actually in the problem. You can't just multiply both sides by 2 or something like that. So can we factor anything out? That's always the first thing I look for. No. Do we have a trig function squared with a 1? No. Okay, well, what's my next suggestion then? Yeah, let's rewrite it. That cosine, that's fine. Over, how do you rewrite secant? Over cosine? Minus, how do you rewrite tangent? Sine over cosine. Now here's where the other class started kind of picking up some of the things that we're looking for. And because everybody's mind was thinking algebra, trying to do things to both sides, get things to cancel out. Again, that cosine on top is just kind of sitting there waiting for me to get rid of the bottom this time. It says take care of the bottom and then we'll deal with this. But I see something in the bottom. If I just gave you that problem, let's say I covered up the top. Yeah, I already have a common denominator, don't I? I didn't even try. And there it is. So I would say let's leave the top. Again, it's just kind of waiting anyways. And then on the bottom, I would have a cosine as a common denominator. What's the numerator down there? 1 minus sine. There you go. Okay, so some of you once again are saying, wow, we haven't made this look any better than what we started with. And you're pretty close to accurate on that one. But this goes back to all that fraction work we did earlier. What am I really dividing by here? I'm dividing by 1 minus sine over cosine, right? And the reason I like to do this one is some people think they can just flip this one. Just forget this 1 over cosines over here and just flip that one. You can't do that. You have to get an entire fraction down here. Then you can flip it. So it is cosine on top, just kind of waiting, saying, hey, you want to take care of that? And so instead of dividing by 1 minus sine over cosine, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. Exactly. So we've got this cosine just waiting. And we're going to multiply by. So where's the cosine end up then? On the top. And what's on the bottom? 1 minus sine. So once again, if you feel more comfortable with having something, underneath everything, you can make it this one over here over 1 if that makes you feel better. And on top, we now have a cosine squared. And then that's going to lead me to my next question. Some of you are now going to say, hey, we have a trig function squared with a 1. But is it 1 plus or minus that trig function that we have that's squared? No. And then some people say, hey, you got that 1 minus sine on the bottom. Why don't we go to that Pythagorean identity? We can't because sine is not squared. So for now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'd be extremely happy if you could get to this. But I'm also going to give you a shot of extra credit. That can go further if you want it to. And if you can show me how to get that further, I'll give you extra credit on Monday. I will give you a slight hint. A difference of 2 squares will be what gets you a little bit further. Which is yet again an algebra technique. But anyways, you have one that you need to be working on right now, and that's example 4, and you need to try that one on your own. All right, let's take a look at this, see how you did. This was one for you to try on your own. So what has been my process? What's always the first thing I have looked for? Nope, I don't look for Pythagorean. I always look for anything that can be factored out. Anything in common, get that out of there first. Then I look for the Pythagorean identities, but we don't have any trig function squared with a 1, so that's that's no good. So then the third one is to go to sines and cosines. So that one's good. No, that one's good. Yeah, becomes sine over cosine, of course, of x. You do notice that in every single one of these problems, the angle has been the same every time. It's always been x or all thetas or all stuff like that. You start getting different angles, and then they get a lot harder. A lot of people, again, might want a 1 right there. And then here's the question that some of you were having. Those cosines, boy, you really want to cross them off. But then you're unsure, can you do that? Because maybe the algebra skills are not quite as good as you thought they were. So then make a problem. 2 over 1 times 3 over 2. you agree the 2's are kind of the cosines and the 1 and the... Can you? Yeah, gone. So then can I do it with the cosines? Yes. So basically I have sine of x plus sine of x. And then what does that become? Becomes the next problem. It is 2 sine x. Very good. Okay. So do you have any questions?